Waste. But there were some that had indignation among themselves, saying, To what purpose hath this waste of the ointment been made? For this ointment might have been sold for above 300 pence and given to the poor. And they murmured against her. Mark 14:4 and 5. These words bring us to what I believe the Lord would have us consider finally together, namely, that which is signified by the little word waste. What is waste? Waste means, among other things, giving more than is necessary. If a shilling will do and you give a pound, it is a waste. If 2 grams will do and you give a kilogram, it is a waste. If 3 days will suffice to finish a task well enough, and you lavish 5 days or a week on it, it is a waste. Waste means that you give something too much for something too little. If someone is receiving more than he is considered to be worth, then that is waste. But remember, we are dealing here with something which the Lord said was to go out with the gospel, wherever that gospel should be carried. Why? Because he intends that the preaching of the gospel should issue something along the very lines of the action of Mary here, namely, that people should come to him and waste themselves on him. This is the result that he is seeking. We must look at this question of wasting on the Lord from 2 angles, that of Judas, John 12:4-6, and that of the other disciples, Matthew 26:8 and 9. And for our present purpose, we will run together the parallel accounts. All of the 12 thought it a waste. To Judas, of course, who had never called Jesus Lord, everything that was poured out upon him was waste. Not only was ointment waste, even water would have been waste. Here, Judas stands for the world. In the world's estimation, the service of the Lord and our giving ourselves to him for such service is sheer waste. He has never been loved, never had a place in the hearts of the world, so any giving to him is a waste. Many say, such and such a man could make good in the world if only he were not a Christian. Because a man has some natural talent or other asset in the world's eyes, they count it a shame for him to be serving the Lord. They think such people are really too good for the Lord. What waste of a useful life, they say. Let me give a personal instance. In 1929, I returned from Shanghai to my hometown of Fuzhou. One day I was walking along the street with a stick, very weak and in broken health, and I met one of my old college professors. He took me into a tea shop where we sat down. He looked at me from head to foot and from foot to head, and then he said, Now look here. During your college days we thought a good deal of you, and we had hopes that you would achieve something great. Do you mean to tell me that this is what you are? Looking at me with penetrating eyes, he asked that very pointed question. I must confess that on hearing it my first desire was to break down and weep. My career, my health, everything had gone, and here was my old professor who taught me law in the school asking me, Are you still in this condition, with no success, no progress, nothing to show? But the very next moment, and I have to admit that in all my life it was the first time, I really knew what it meant to have the Spirit of glory resting upon me. The thought of being able to pour out my life for my Lord flooded my soul with glory. Nothing short of the Spirit of glory was on me then. I could look up and without a reservation say, Lord, I praise thee. This is the best thing possible. It is the right course that I have chosen. To my professor it seemed a total waste to serve the Lord. But that is what the gospel is for, to bring each one of us to a true estimate of his worth. Judas felt it a waste. We could manage better with the money by using it in some other way. There are plenty of poor people. Why not rather give it for charity, do some social service for their uplift, help the poor in some practical way? Why pour it out at the feet of Jesus? See John 12:4-6. That is always the way the world reasons. Can you not find a better employment for your life? Can you not do something better with yourself than this? It is going a bit too far to give yourself altogether to the Lord. But if the Lord is worthy, then how can it be a waste? He is worthy to be so served. He is worthy for me to be his prisoner. He is worthy for me just to live for him. He is worthy.